back on the Young Turks, Cenk and John. We're going to do Ask Me Anything here. You got to be a member to ask a question. TYT.com/trial gets you a free membership for a week, so you could cheat. Anyway,
TYT.com/John to show support for the person who's going to be answering some of the questions.
In fact, we're going to get to that here. Some of you asked hard questions, and I'm still trying to think of my answers here. Like top 3 moments of your life. Jeez and Lord mercy.
Jeez.
Okay. Anyways, but we'll get to all that in good time. So, but as usual with these Ask Me Anythings, you guys are not remotely interested in my life. Almost all the questions are directed at John.
I think they know a lot about you at this point.
Yeah, they're probably tired of me. That's why.
You not only do you host this, but you host Old School, which is you talking about yourself, like things that are interesting to you, your food,
and the post games, and the behind the scenes, etc. Anyway, and most of the time when I do it with Anna, it's mainly for Anna. But here we go. Casey asks, "What is your guys' favorite thing to do together outside of the office?" Okay, that's a great fun question to start with. Okay,
we do together?
No, not John and I would never do anything with John.
That's not 100% true.
What did we do together?
Once went and saw a movie. Do you remember the movie?
Oh yeah, me, John, and Ben went to see a movie.
Do you remember what?
Star Trek?
No, that sounds awesome. Actually, I did see, I'll return to that in a second. We saw Mad Max Fury Road.
Oh, that's right, that's right.
That was fun.
It was, we should do that more often.
Not fun enough that we've ever done it again, but it was fun.
Yeah.
Ben actually he brought me as a +1 to an early screener of Star Wars The Force Awakens, which was awesome. It was like 2 weeks before the movie came out.
Yeah, so different people at TYT get together at different times. Some of us get together at the same time. But I wish we had more time if this some bitch boss wasn't working us so much, right? But so like me, Ben, Mark Thompson, and Michael Schur will go to dinner sometimes together. We'll make it a steak dinner just to drive Mark Thompson crazy because he's vegan.
That'll show him.
And
you played basketball with a bunch of them.
That's right. I played basketball with Steve-O, J.R. Jackson. Different people have showed up at different times. Hassan Piker showed up for a while and then invented an injury to get out of it. Brett showed up once, nearly was hospitalized.
Oh my God, Ricky invented that leg injury.
No, that one was real.
He sold it.
Yeah, I actually sprained my ankle, or as my kids are saying, I sprained my uncle this weekend playing basketball with a bunch of the guys from work. But you and Brett hang out and go to escape rooms.
We did a bunch of escape rooms. They went to every escape room in the LA area, most of them without me, so we can't do that anymore. But we do board game nights, we do movie nights. I bought a projector and we made my backyard area look really nice and stuff. Every year we have, I Can't Believe He's Still in Power Hour on election day. Commemorate that dark day, and yeah, we do fun things.
I once got a lot of the folks here, including some old timers like Jimmy Dore and Wes Clark, etc., to do the Uygur Invitational, where we came when my wife and kids were out of town to come over and smoke. Okay, and it was a ton of fun.
I can imagine.
Yeah, it was supposed to be the inaugural Uygur Invitational. It turned out it was the only Uygur Invitational. Anyway, but me, Anna, JR, and Jesus, who's our director, who folks used to see more, but now we don't have a camera there, so you can't see him as much. And we'll text each other when we get high sometimes. So that's kind of a thing.
I get high sometimes. I want to be on this text.
No, you're not allowed.
I do. Okay. I do frequently, a lot actually. But anyway.
Okay, so that's fun. All right, let's go to Renee. When can we expect John and TYT to play a game of D&D? I would love to see that. To our Dungeons and Dragons expert.
Like of people here?
I suppose that seems to be the question.
I mean, we could. I do play.
So we just have to tape it because sometimes they'll have game night here. I'll hear a lot of ruckus in downstairs. I'm like, what is going on? And then you'll see John at the head of the table and it's surrounded by fellow dorks. And they'll be playing some sort of wizardry game of some sort. And then every once in a while I'll hear them say, "To the king of the dorks."
That was you. You said
Jon
that.
Snow Iadarola.
That might be a fun member thing to do.
Yeah, but
doesn't that?
So Dungeons and Dragons, doesn't it take like years to play though?
No, you can. I mean, you can do like a storyline that continues and characters that continue and do a bunch of different things, but you can do a one-shot thing where it's just one adventure that takes 2 to 4 hours or something like that.
Really?
I did a charity stream that was like that. It was just a one-time thing.
Oh, okay. Well, that I might be more interested in. So do you have a player that you still maintain in some sort of story arc in Dungeons and Dragons?
No, I'm not a player in any. I've done a couple of little one-shot things. I have players. I am the dungeon master for a few.
Of course you are. Of course you are.
Yeah,
you and Keith Abloh. Dungeon masters of different sorts.
Oh my God! I just remembered. No, the same sort.
Ooh, then I don't want to know. Okay, all right, let's keep it going. Sartorial Narwhal says, John, here we go again. What tabletop RPGs have you played and are you still playing? And what was or is your favorite? You're playing tabletop rocket-propelled grenades? Now that is badass, man. I didn't know you rolled like that.
You go through a lot of tables. No, role-playing games.
Role-playing games.
Yeah, so I have played D&D, the most recent edition, 5th edition. I've also played 2nd edition and pre-2nd edition. And I've played Earth Dawn. And I think that's it, honestly. One of my hobbies is that I do collect and read through the rules for a lot of different RPGs. I own tons and tons of them, but you can't, I mean, I don't have the sort of life where I can play all of them, but I do find it to be interesting to see how people put those games together and stuff like that. So I guess Dungeons and Dragons, although I'm very interested in other games.
Yeah. Okay. By the way, speaking of games, one other thing I forgot to mention of us hanging out is Mark Thompson used to have a killer poker game, right? Although I had a theory that I got banned from it once back in the day.
Because you were talking up somebody.
Yeah, I was being me, so I wouldn't blame him.
It's for all the damn steaks you eat in front of him, I
think. All right, so that might have been part of it. No, Brent DeCorn writes in, during the membership contest last year, I was torn between signing up through tyt.com/Anna or tyt.com/John. What broke the tie for me was when I asked John if he played Warhammer, and he admitted to being a former 40K player, at which time I chose John. And now the question is, what army or armies did you play, and do you still have the models for it? P.S. Death to the false emperor, let the galaxy burn.
Wow.
Okay, man, I am going to max out on geekiness here.
He's not talking about Trump.
Okay, all right. So I have no idea what he's. I like the word Warhammer, but you lost me otherwise.
We've got some big nerds that watch. So you've probably seen, the games where it'll be a big table and they'll have fake little buildings, fake little trees. It'll look like a real setting, like you might imagine, like seeing like Stannis push stuff around on, and you'll have little figures and people move them around and they shoot each other and stuff like that. That's like a tabletop war game where you're moving things around and there's rules to adjudicate how the armies fight. So Warhammer is a fantasy game. Warhammer 40K is a sci-fi game made by the same company. I used to play Warhammer 40K. I owned a Necron army. They're basically like robotic undead people.
Of course.
Yeah, they sold their souls to a god who eats stars. They wanted to live forever, and the god gave them what they wanted, but it was by making them into undying robotic slaves, effectively. I don't have them anymore, though, not for a long time. I own some War Machine figures, but I just get them for painting.
Okay, no more game questions, but I will say this.
Grimkin.
I also do play a game. It's called House of Representatives. Okay, and there's another one called the White House, and we're in the middle of playing right now. Anyway, I'll tell you a super cool.
You play the Game of Thrones, basically.
Yeah, we don't have little figures, we have little fingers. So seriously, when I was in 8th grade, Miss Zaremba, who was a substitute teacher for most of the year that year, wound up playing this incredible game like the one you're talking about, where it was the South versus the North in the Civil War.
Oh.
And so this is a bit of a controversy here. So maybe this will make it into the papers. No. I was one of the leaders of the South, and we were undermanned, under-resourced, etc. And I'm going to keep it real. Ms. Zaremba put all the smart kids in the South and said, "Good luck." Okay.
Oh.
And so when I say smart, everybody's smart in different ways. We were the ones that got better grades.
You were smart in the good ways.
And man, we held the North for a long, and we might have even won. I forget now. I'll have to call one of the guys from back in 8th grade, and yeah. So, but that was like, look, you're in 8th grade, you don't know. Like, if I knew what I knew, like, I'd be like, do we want to win, guys?
Kind of uncomfortable.
Right? In fact, they have monuments of me up in Alabama.
I actually heard that sort of game, Bernie Sanders refused to play it, and Jennifer Rubin hates him for it. He won't play Warhammer 40K.
All right, so let's go to non-game stuff. Brad Delmore says, Cenk, what happened to I've decided I'm gonna get ripped? Brad continues, I noticed that commercial walked off a short pier. LOL. Come on, brother, you can do it. Wrong, I can't. No, seriously, I twisted my ankle yesterday, so that's why.
You ripped it. Hey, you ripped part of your body. Da, 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 da.
I get it. So no, I'm now, the reason, kidding aside, I'm now totally screwed. I can't, it's a pretty bad sprain. So I won't be able to exercise for at least a month. Okay, it's all purple right now, and swollen and the whole thing, right? So this is what I look like when I exercise every other day.
Cenk,
Imagine,
stop working out.
I know, right? Imagine what I'm going to look like when I can't work out. Okay, so buckle up, brace for impact.
You're also among the busiest people I've ever known.
Yeah,
that takes a lot out of working out.
I just realized I was right. I said, just play it again, Edwin. Can you play it again?
Cenk, you've got to stop working out.
See, I only got one thing slightly wrong. I said Cenk, that somebody would say, Cenk, stop, you've got to stop working out. I meant John. I just mispronounced it a little bit because John did get ripped to the point where people said, are you sure you want to keep working out? It's getting a little ridiculous.
I haven't heard anyone say that, but
I think I
nice.
might have said that.
Oh, okay.
I just had it a little backwards, that's all.
I think you messed up by recording Cenk, you need to stop working out, which Bart and Edwin then went on to play over and over. You are a pretty persuasive person. You kept persuading yourself to stop.
I agree with everything John says. John is always right.
He is.
That's my least favorite clip in TYT history.
It's my favorite by a mile.
Yeah, and
I agree with
obviously,
everything John says. John is always right.
you can tell in the mocking tone that I wasn't actually saying John is always right. But
clip that too.
But the alt-right guys that run audio here, okay, keep taking me out of context.
Now you know how Sam Harris feels.
Thank you. Finally, somebody said it on TYT. Okay. Ian says, will you bring back the arm wrestling competition? Well, now that I gotta feel good about something, yeah, probably. Because I think I'm still gonna be okay. Fitero asks, excluding Cenk, who's the worst driver in TYT? I don't know that we have the answer to that.
I don't know.
But I win that by a significant margin. So, but the rest of you are
Your
okay
story
drivers.
about hitting like 3 cars. I've never been in a car accident while I was driving.
Wow.
I've been in motorcycle accidents while I was driving, but not
That
car
sounds
accidents.
worse. That sounds worse.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know the answer to that one, but let's keep it going. Let's go to some of those harder questions. Oh, Wendy S says, the Roger Stone Alex Jones incident, is there anything you would do differently if you had a chance to do it over again? Ooh, controversy. Yeah, I'd hit him. No, I'm kidding. It's, I never thought about it. That's funny that you asked that, Wendy. Now, it's that night. It was Trump's acceptance speech at the Republican convention, obviously. And Trump's acceptance speech was the #2 most popular video on Facebook. #1 was Young Turks versus Alex Jones, okay? And so you would think that given the prominence and how many people watched it, and people still come up to me and say, oh man, that was great, I wish you'd have hit him, I've never once considered what I should have done. I guess that partly means that I certainly didn't regret anything I did, right? So it's not like I think like, oh, I wish I'd have done it differently. Yeah. No, I'm sure I could have done something better, but I don't know what it is. I don't know. Would I have stopped Jimmy?
I was gonna say,
guess.
I followed my strategy. The only thing I would have considered is maybe joining Jimmy and spitting on him. I'm 50-50 on maybe, because think about that, if both of us had like flanked him and he gets hit on both cheeks, that would have been great, but maybe get a little bit in his mouth.
Yeah, so
We'll never know.
We'll never know. The TYT Plus app is now available on iOS and Android. Download to get more TYT content at tyt.com/app.